Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and teaching Ruel, and Shalom to the elect who are pushing this truth in all sincerity in the four quarters of the earth. Lord willing, we be of that number. It's your brother Tabari Yakwana coming at you with a quick ride and glide and just through the spirit, just going in the store, man, just realizing what this devil is all up to, man. He's closing off options, and I did like a lesson about this back in the day. There's like a guy that walked into a story, quick story. There was a guy that walked into a town, and he was like, the town had a problem with hogs, and he's like, oh man, I can help you with the hog problem. He was like, oh shit, okay. All I need is, some board. I need some, some nails, a hammer. I need some corn, and that's pretty much it. That's all I pretty much need, man. And basically, long story short was, the guy went out there to where the hogs were, and he basically chummed them. We go into the word chum. It's basically he lured them, with the corn into an area. So he just made himself presentable. He made himself how do you call it? Made himself the word escapes me, but I would say just there, he made himself there. So like, I can't get the word out, man. So he made himself available, made himself, anyways. So he was there amongst these hogs, and they got used to him. Okay, and that's the point. They got used to him, and they got used to him, feeding them for free, And then over time, he just started building a pen around them, a perimeter around them, man. But it was far out, man, so that they didn't really they couldn't see what was going on. It was so far from them, they couldn't see what was going on. They couldn't see the potential danger, And so over time, finally he got the perimeter enclosed. He had enclosed them, but the perimeter was way out. It was way out. The hogs thought that they were still free, so called. Hogs thought that they were still free, but really they were enclosed in a fence. But the fence was just they was inside a very large fenced-in area, And so now that you got the hogs fenced in, you just bring the boards in, you bring the sides in, and that's what's going on. That was the point. That's what's going on with this place, America, Babylon the Great, man. They are bringing in the sides. They're closing off options. They're shutting off options, shutting down stores. They're shutting down just food options, and they're using little things that they have in the media to blame it. Oh man, we had, the C-19 and that messed up the supply chain, and which could have some truth to it, but these people, bro, they can move ship goods overnight, damn near, if they wanted to. So, they can catch up if they wanted to. But this is all in the plans. This is all in the works. This is all the Most High working on the left hand side, man. These elites bringing their trying to bring in their so-called New World NWO into play, man. You could check that out on the back of the dollar. It's right there in plain sight on the back of your dollar, man. It's not there to make it. I mean, really, when we talk about these things, man, I really feel like Jake knows, man. Jake knows. Jake just knows, man. He knows that things are going into a different area, AI and robots and artificial, cyborg type shit, transhumanism. And he's all for it, man. Jake is for it, man. And that's how you know there's a difference between the elect and those that that are not of the elect. Those the 2/3, man. There's a real deal difference, man. Okay. And this devil thinks that he's gonna fill his belly, man. Let's grab. Yeah, just to bring out a scripture. This is Job 20 and 23. 22. Job 20:22. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits, man. This is speaking about the so-called white man. Thinking that he's going to bring this whole new world arrangement, together, man. The NWO together, man. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. That means he's going to be in a difficult spot, man. The Lord going to put him in a difficult spot. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. Okay, so the scriptures speak on division. That's going to be that the Lord is bringing, man. You think I bring peace? Nay, I bring a sword. That sword represents division, man, and destruction. A man's household shall be against each other. The people in his household shall be against each other. Man, father against son, daughter against mother. Roughly paraphrasing. It says, when he is about to fill his belly. Job 20:23. When he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating, man. And that's going into the missiles, man. The ICBM missiles, man. These other nations, they're waking up to the fact that this so-called white man, this devil, through his imperialism, his colonialism, through his manifest destiny, so-called, invading other countries, pushing his witchcraft, his Hollywood media, all that shit, movies and all that shit throughout other nations. Even through his food. You got the McDonald's and the Burger Kings and the Hardys and shit in other countries. And when these nations are waking up to the fact that this devil is not there to help them get money and to thrive, This devil is there in their presence to subdue them, to make them slaves, man, to destroy their culture, their way of life. And to make them a perpetual slave, man, going into Revelation 13 and 16, man. He causeth all, free bond, slave, rich, poor, to receive that mark, okay? That mark going into that digital tag that he wants to enslave you with, man. That RFID tag that he wants to enslave you with. All right? And so these nations are going to rise up. The scriptures speak on how let the rich say let the poor say I'm, Salakia, how does it go? Let the poor beat their, Salakia, I'll get it. This is, Joel 3 and verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Joel 3:10. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I am strong. So these weaker nations, hey, they're gonna come up against the so-called the beast, man. This beast system. And namely, America, Babylon the Great, man. They're gonna shoot missiles on it and try to destroy it, man. And they're gonna destroy it, man. And it's all gonna be of the Lord's gonna put the spirit on them to do these things, as He's putting the spirit on the nations in the so-called Middle East to gather up the kings for war, man, in the valley of Jehoshaphat, man, or Yahweh Shaphat, man, the valley of decision, the valley of where the Lord is gonna kick off World War III, man. So I'm just getting into the fact that the Lord is making moves, man. We think that this devil is just making the moves, but the Lord controls the devil, man. As the scriptures say, the Lord creates the darkness and the light, man. And so the Lord's putting the spirit on this devil to close down certain things, shut off certain avenues within this place, America, Babylon the Great. And these people going to be in straits in a minute, man. As the scripture says, Isaiah 33 and 6, man, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, roughly paraphrasing, okay? If you don't know what's going on, you're going to be lost in that sauce, man, of things. And if you don't understand how to use certain resources, man, that, knowing that in a minute, all these so-called resources, 401k, all that shit, man, fuck all that, man. All that shit is useless. If you ain't storing up some goods, not to be a hoarder or anything, but if you ain't preparing for what's to come, you ain't got the truth, man. A lot of these other camps ain't preparing the flocks, man. So let the blind, if the blind leadeth the blind, then they both shall fall into a ditch. Hey, so Lord willing, that was edifying. I want to give all glory, honor, and praises once again to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Chakodash, the honor to the apostles and elders, a great millstone, and shalom to the elect. Shalom.